this boss right here is Mad. I don't know how to pronounce this. Mad Morani or something like that. He has what's on ads that you have to AoE down. As for the tank, he does this leap that he jumps up in the air, and he tries to kill you with that. He also has another attack that is this. You have to sidestep out of that, so you don't take unnecessary damage. He really doesn't hit too hard. There's nothing you absolutely have to block other than that heavy attack, because that knocks you down. Let's move on to Bloodfiend. Okay, so Bloodspawn. He's basically one of the gargoyles from HRC without the breath and pound. He heavy attacks you, like seen here. He leaps behind you and then starts smashing. Your healer has to put a healing springs on the group to keep the group up. Other than that, he's a pretty simple fight. The tank will self-sustain on his own, whenever that happens. He has that heavy attack that you have to block. And that's really about it for this guy. He's probably one of the simplest bosses in the game. Saying we just kind of killed him. This guy is kind of hard. He has multiple ad waves. There is a mini boss in each ad wave, and there are mini ads. Whenever you start getting actual people that are your ads, your tank needs to chain them in and hold the mini boss. This first one is just a wave of spiders, and upping the tank needs to taunt, just telling them to chain them there. This next part, you have to get this Swarm Mother Nightmare ad and hold it. The rest of them will get AoE down. Okay, so this next one. What's the name boss for this one? Okay, this is Big Ramu. Your tank has to chain in all the ads on top of Big Ramu. Your DPS focus Big Ramu, and we nuke down him along with the few ads that he brings. After this, we will get the Swarm Mother, if I remember right. And, oh, I guess not. Guess that spawned on it. Okay, so your tank has to taunt the boss. Yeah, here we got the Whisperer, that's what it was. You have to taunt the Whisperer and chain in the two ads that it brings. We still focus the Whisperer, never needed to face out a group for any of these trash pulls. As for the boss, you taunt him as soon as that's dead, and you face him to the right or the left. And then you turn him around like this, so that he's faced away from your group. Your melee has to be standing on his side, so that she doesn't get hit with the insta-death red. This mechanic, the blue circle, is one that will randomly spawn on one of your 4 members. They have to follow it around while staying on the inside of it until it disappears, and not touch the red edge. If you touch the red edge, it will one-shot you. If, say, your healer walked into the red edge, or one of your DPS, then they will get one-shotted. The tank can live through it, but, like, see how they're all backing away from me? That's because they have to if they want to live, because that will one-shot them, even if they're not the one standing in the center. And he sends out a curse that does resource drain. This is about it for this boss. These are the Atronach Flesh duo, or trio, my bad, and you taunt all of them, and you just hold them here and stack them. The mechanics for these guys is you have to face them away from the group as best you can because of that red AoE that they did in front of them. You saw that claw where they lit their hand on fire and then they threw a cloud of fire at you. You have to face that away from group so your group isn't taking unnecessary damage. And you try to keep taunts on all 3 of them. Once the first one dies, the other 2 will become enraged and get about 500,000 more health each. And they will do double damage if I remember right. That's about it for this boss. This boss is another really simple boss. The next boss that we're going to come up upon has trash before it. We have an Atronach that's basically like those bosses just sit on rage. You have to taunt the boss and chain in the ads. The main mechanic for this boss is he will turn into a blood pool, and he will drop Dawnbreaker. Not Dawnbreaker. Standard of Might. You drop Standard of Might, your healer has to keep your DPS healed for it if they're melee. If you're ranged, just stand outside of it. The second one is he turns into a blood pool. The tank just sits here and eats this, and the healer heals a bit. Reason why is so that your DPS can keep AoEs here without moving the boss out of AoEs. And then you just nuke this boss, and it's a pretty simple fight from here on out. The last boss is a little bit more advanced than the rest of these bosses. The hard mode for this one is you grab the boss, and you have to kill him before he kills one of these sacrifices, which is just a really, really small DPS test. You're almost guaranteed to get it. Everyone comes stacks in a certain spot next to him, very close to him. It doesn't matter if you're all stacked up tight like this, you just have to be close enough to the boss that way he's not moving out of hail and liquid lightning and stuff like that whenever he decides he's going to port. See this red string he does? That's what slowly whittles down the ad's health. The tank just stands here and eats the red. The DPS do move out of it. This is why we stack close to him, is so that he stands in our red AoE. You want to keep him about here. See, I got it again, so I just stand here and eat this. I want to... Okay, see, he's porting to everyone. I want to show you what happens when the group gets it. Remember, the group gets it next time. Yeah, group's getting it. Okay, so they walk either to the left or the right, and they just stand next to the boss. This is fine. You guys don't have to be stacked up as one. You just have to be circled around the boss. That's about it for this fight. It's pretty easy. Most of the bosses in here are pretty much a stack and burn. I'd say that the hardest boss is the one after Blood Spawn. That's about it. Well, good luck on your guys' first clear.